Did you know that after Second World War there were only 2 men for every 3 women in Soviet Union? And this imbalance has actually never recovered. And that probably explains everything about Slavic beauty standards and the way I was raised to look. Let's touch upon this difficult topic today and talk about historical reasons behind Slavic beauty standards. Hi, I'm Sasha, living in Stockholm, but before I moved here, I lived in Russia. I think it's time to discuss the dramatic difference between Scandinavian and Slavic beauty standards. And let's not focus solely on false lashes or lip fillers, because it's not about that, it's not that simple. Let's talk about historical and cultural reasons behind them. And as everything else, beauty standards are a double-edged sword. So we also would touch upon a fashion market in Russia and popular and famous worldwide famous fashion brands with Russian roots. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now, as we are ready to dive. When I grew up, I've been constantly told to focus on my appearance. So having my nails not too long, having my hair done, having my clothes attractive but not vulgar. So basically preparing myself to be a good candidate for a wife. And it's very surprising because all my women relatives were extremely successful at work. They earned good money, and me myself, I got enrolled to a Moscow State University, which is the best uni in the country. Yet all of the focus of my family actually was on preparing me to be a good wife, as if without that I wouldn't be considered complete. Sad but still relevant, women in Slavic countries are not considered happy and successful if they are not married with kids. And it's not a coincidence, it's actually the result of historical events and patriarchal views of the society supported by governments. How did we get to the situation where women have to compete for men and use all the methods to win the Pick-Me Championship? Let's start with a history lesson. After the Soviet Union's establishment, the policy of Red Terror aimed to get rid of so-called enemies of the nation. And it led to the execution of millions of people, like teachers, engineers and military officers, mostly men. My own great-grandpa luckily avoided execution, but he spent more than 10 years in labor camps. And right after that, the Second World War started. As you've probably heard, the Soviet Union lost roughly 27 million of people in the Second World War, mostly young adult men. The war altered the Soviet Union's population pyramid, creating a post-war gender imbalance. Among young adults in 1946, the ratio of men to women dropped to roughly 0.65, or 2 men for every 3 women, in the 20 to 29 age group. There was actually a popular Soviet song from the 60s that tried to reassure everyone, claiming for every 10 girls, according to statistics, there's only 9 guys. Turns out it was wishful thinking, because census shows that in 1970s there were roughly 7 men for every 10 women in this generation. Let's not forget that not all of the soldiers came from the war physically whole, not to mention their mental health. So even though women didn't need men to survive, because they were educated, they could perform any kind of work and they were not afraid of it, the situation was catastrophic, because research showed that even by 1959 the ratio was about 45 versus 55%. So that means that not every woman was able to get married, even if she wanted to. And it wasn't just bad luck. Researchers found that shortage of men actually lowered marriage and birth rates and left women with less power within their own marriages, even years after the war ended. And Soviet policy made it even worse, encouraging birth outside of the marriage and discouraging divorce, leaving women to carry this burden of consequences alone.
какая хорошенькая, ты маленькая. Катя, успокойся. Маленькая, ты что так летишься? Красивая какая, симпатичная. Что ты расплакалась? Катя, на тебя похожа безумно. Ты посмотри, глаза и нос точно.
Как назовешь-то? Александрой. В честь моего отца.
Ага.
Тихо.
Правильно?
Все за стол, уже все готово. Мы так никуда не сядем. Ну сядьте за стол. Катя, укладывай ребенка.
And if you think that it's not the case in a modern society, then you are wrong, because I just checked statistics and it turned out that in Russia there are roughly 1.5 million of men who does not pay child support to the mothers of their kids. So women are left to raise their kids alone. You may object that the Second World War was 80 years ago, so the situation should have recovered by now. But the reality is quite brutal. Gender ratio is still 87 men for every 100 women in Russia, comparing to 98 in the US and 102 globally. And the healthy life expectancy for men in Russia is only 58 years. And the life expectancy gap between men and women is almost highest in the world, second only to Syria. Okay, I hope I was able to set the ground, and now let's switch to the topic, Slavic beauty standards. I would not surprise you if I said I also had my false lashes era in my mid-20s. I was actually married by then, but even in this situation I didn't consider it my natural beauty enough. So I felt that I need to put efforts to look more attractive. And it's actually very common, so be sure that relatives would comment on your appearance every time they see you, especially if you don't meet their expectations. Another very unhealthy topic is a fat shaming, and it's actual both for women and men, and society is just hyper fixated on the weight, and even strangers could give you comments like, "You need to lose weight," pretty much the same way we say hello to each other. So it's very common to feel guilty after you have eaten a cake, or to promise yourself to work it around afterwards. It's not healthy, yeah? And actually that is one of the reasons why we moved out of the country, because I don't want my children to feel the same pressure I had. And let me show you modern body standards in Slavic countries. So all these images from Instagram, it is considered as a healthy and beautiful women bodies, but in reality, I'm not even sure it's not a result of a Photoshop. And let me show you the search result for sport leggings on a Russian marketplace. I'm not sure it's even a sport clothes. If you've come across Instagram accounts of Russian girls, you will see this very good trend of shifting from feminine standards towards more authentic beauty. But still, the majority embrace a high volume and high degree of beauty enhancement. So let's talk about what is a Slavic beauty standard, what is a standard routine in Slavic countries. So what is the standard beauty routine list for Slavic girl? Let's check together. First of all, lashes. You either have them extended or laminated. Then your brows, because your brows are the accent on your face. So you either tattoo them or do microblading. The next come the lips, and lip fillers are very common. So it's just something like an ordinary procedure for any girl in Russia and other Slavic countries. Not everybody does that, by the way, but a lot of people actually do. The next point is your hair. So you have to either color or dye your hair to make it more beautiful, obviously, and then to use Dyson every morning, because it's not considered okay to go out without a proper hairstyling. Then comes your nails. Gel polish every 3 weeks. And the last one, of course, wearing conventional women clothes and high heels. In essence, you can spot two types of faces considered as the standard, and sometimes I can't tell some girls apart as they must be visiting the same plastic surgeon. Yes, most of these women actually work and earn good money. They are not as simple as they seem. Yet, due to the reasons we discussed before, they have to compete in one way or another. This unique situation not only produced a large number of beautiful women, it also affected the world of fashion. So, as the focus on the appearance was significant for ages, it created a very huge creative industry in the country and produced supermodels like Natalia Vodianova, Irina Shayk and Sasha Pivovarova. It also laid the ground for fashion brands now known around the world, like Gosha Rubchinskiy, Vika Gazinskaya and Walk of Shame. And here's what's interesting. These are exactly the brands that don't simply repeat the hyper-feminine standard I just described. Gosha built his name on raw, deliberately unfeminine streetwear pulled straight from the post-Soviet youth culture. Vika's signature is architectural, minimalist, almost Scandinavian in its restraint. And Walk of Shame plays the whole thing for irony, with playful prints and winged fashion that doesn't take itself too seriously. The brands that actually crossed over to Europe are the ones that subverted the standard rather than embodied it. Personal styling is very popular as well. Women hire stylists to curate their wardrobes. It all created a unique mix of people praising good taste and quality outfits, regardless of the situation around them. Treat it as a way to perform internal immigration to a creative bubble in the circumstances where you cannot change the status quo. And if you're curious to check what people actually wear on Moscow streets, check this Instagram account. Ouch, I thought this episode is going to be short, but apparently I have so much to tell on this topic. Slavic beauty standards, while being controversial and even not fair towards women, they produced this unique fashion stage that gives us modern street style and top fashion stars. Hope you enjoyed this topic as much as I enjoyed presenting it. And thank you for your likes and comments. I really love the small community we have here. Thank you for today and see you in the next video.